At the Tracime del Monte Bondone Nature Reserve, man's interference is solely limited to observation and research. The nature reserve is 185 hectares wide and is managed by the Tridentine Museum of Natural Sciences. It boasts a highly varied and fascinating array flora from a naturalistic point of view. The Douglasia vitoliana, the Veronica bonaerota and the Physoplexus camosa all grow here, as do the alpine and mountain anemone and the silverleaf geranium. Furthermore, Vyote Basin boasts glacial origins and includes a so-called flat peat bog. Several mosses and bog mosses similar to those traditionally found in northern peat bogs located in circumboreal regions such as Russia, Finland, and Sweden have also been discovered here. The Botanic Gardens were established in 1938 and boast more than 2,000 different species of plants and flowers from leading mountain ranges around the world. The Vyote peat bog is located just a short distance away, at 1,550 m ASL. It is approximately 20 hectares wide and is known as the Palu di Bondone. The starting point is Refugio Vyote, at almost 1,600 meters of altitude. We pass by the Terrazza del Stelle Astronomical Observatory, and then the trail crosses the Vyote peat bog. The flower-filled meadows make the landscape magical, especially in June. Near the Malga mountain hut, we need to take the barely visible path to the left, in the middle of the meadow, but marked with a signpost for the nature trail. After a while, we reach the forest, and the trail begins to climb the mountain. Our destination is called Cima Verde, standing at 2,100 meters. To reach this first peak of the Bondone, we ascend through the forest. The summit is a vast meadow, but we need to be very careful, as it suddenly ends with a vertical drop. Unfortunately, today the view towards the Dolomites is obscured by haze, but the flower-filled meadows make up for this absence. The next stage, which follows the ridge connecting the three peaks, is the most interesting part of the route. To our right is a steep scree slope, and to the left is a gorge that drops hundreds of meters. Ahead of us is the second peak, the Dos Diabromo. We skirt the summit to the right, Sella dos Diabromo, and then approach the Cornetto, the third and final peak of the Bondone. To its right, the descent begins. We cross the fabulous meadows of Ginevra and Costa dei Cavalli, then reach the forest, and follow this path back to the Vyote meadows. We will surely remember this hike for a long time, thanks to the unique beauty of the nature and landscape. The Monte Bondone group separates the Adige Valley from the Vale dei Laghi, dominating the city of Trento. At its center lies the Viote Plateau, surrounded by the main peaks, Pallon and the so-called three peaks of Monte Bondone, Cornetto, Dos Diabromo, and Cima Verde. Today, the mountain is a tourist area offering accommodations, ski slopes, and hiking trails through forests and meadows. In the 19th century, the Candriai Battery and the Mandolin Blockhouse controlled the northern slope of the mountain. At the beginning of the 20th century, after the construction of the military road from Trento to Monte Bondone, the Viote Barracks complex and the Pallon stronghold were built. When the war broke out, a new trench line ascended the Bondone, and new cave and concrete structures controlled the western side of the fortress. A more advanced defense line stretched between Mount Rosta and Cima Cornetto, the highest point of the defense at 2,179 meters. The so-called three peaks, Cornetto, Dos Diabromo, and Cima Verde, are part of the landscape that dominates Trento and represent one of the classic mountain hikes for all its inhabitants. Their altitude and location, straddling the Adige Valley and the Vale dei Laghi, make them a particularly interesting vantage point, and a century ago, they were also a strategically important sector. They became part of the complex fortification system around the capital city of Trento and underwent various modifications. First, the construction of a military road in 1907, which ascended from Trento to Viote, passing through Sardegna, Candriai, and Vaison. Then, the construction of the Viote military barracks, which included dormitories, kitchens, hospitals, and workshops for repairing artillery pieces. In 1910, the fortification of Pallon began, followed by the defense line between Mount Rosta and Cima Cornetto. At Bocca Vaiona, trenches, caves, tunnels, and positions can still be seen today. Cima Cornetto was tasked with overseeing the fortress of Trento, directing the artillery fire in the area, and serving as an optical signaling center with Trento and the Riva del Garda sector. Finally, in 1915, the heart of the mountain was traversed by a large system of tunnels connected to a large wooden barrack and a trench protected by a 20 centimeters thick concrete cover. Our journey of discovery through Monte Bondone and its wonders ends here. To stay updated on our upcoming trails and its history, subscribe to the channel. Thank you, see you soon.